authority to detain and promptly remove families together as a unit.
6:51 here, Big 550 KTRS. Stephen Roberts is a political analyst, and he normally joins us on Monday, but to get his perspective politically, we asked him to come back on Wednesday. Good morning, Stephen Roberts.
Hey, pal.
All right, so Donald Trump, in the face of growing criticism from the opposition, from his own party, from the Pope, is now signaling that he thinks he knows exactly what he's doing, and this is good for him when it comes to politics and the midterms.
Well, look, this all goes back to politics. This is a man, let's remember, when he announced for president, one of his key issues from the beginning has been a very hard line toward immigrants. He called Mexicans rapists the day he announced for president. Today he calls them animals and murderers and thieves. And he believes very strongly, McGraw, that this hardline attitude helped elect him president. He's probably right. But right now, the images people are seeing are not of murderers and thieves, they're of crying babies. And that has changed the political calculation enormously. And a lot of Republicans increasingly alarmed that the president's appeal to his base is not playing well in the larger political environment. Latest CNN poll, 2 out of 3 Americans say they do not approve of the president's policies. That's really got Republicans upset on Capitol Hill. Problem is, Republicans think the president can change this policy overnight. He installed this policy. He can change this policy. He keeps saying, my hands are tied, Congress has to do it. But even Republicans know that's a lie. It's a lie to say he has no choices, because he created this problem and he created this policy, and in some ways is proud of this policy. And that's the stalemate this morning. Republicans in Congress say to the president, you fix it. And the president says to Republicans in Congress, no, you fix it.
Donald Trump doesn't back down. Donald Trump doesn't apologize. Donald Trump doesn't change course. And the more pressure put on Donald Trump, the more defiant he is. And that's been his winning strategy. Is this, do you think, a bridge too far? Is this where it all comes crashing down? Or does his base still stick with him through this?
Well, those are two different questions. I think his base does stick with him. We do know that this argument, this hardline argument of anti-immigrant, nativist, xenophobic rhetoric has worked with the core base of support. The problem for the Republicans as they look at this is that there are key districts that the Democrats are taking aim at where the hardcore Republican Trumpites are not enough to win the election. You look at the Central Valley of California, several vulnerable Republicans with heavily Hispanic districts. You look at Orange County in California. You look at the southern border in Texas. You look at South Florida. There are a whole series of vulnerable Republican seats where a rising tide of Hispanic votes could turn against the Republicans on this issue and help drive Republicans out of office. So that's the problem. The hardcore base is still with them, but they're not going to win these key races for him in suburban districts and borderline districts with a lot of Hispanic voters.
What do you make of Ted Cruz, a border state, up for re-election? Senator Ted Cruz coming out and saying that this is a bad policy, this needs to change?
Because he's reading the politics that what I described. Texas probably has more Hispanic voters than any state in the country. And let's remember, Republicans historically have done reasonably well with Hispanic voters in Texas. When George Bush ran for governor, he got 40% of the Hispanic vote. Hispanics are not automatically Democratic votes. Many of them are small business people. Many of them are conservative on social issues like gay marriage and abortion. They are winnable by the Republican Party, but not if the Republican Party hangs out a sign saying no Hispanics need apply. No Hispanics are welcome in this party. And the whole immigration policy coming from the White House has sent that message. And that's why someone like Ted Cruz, who is in a re-election race against a tough and appealing young Democrat, is reading these political leaves and saying, wait, in Texas, I've got to change. I've got to depart from the president's policies. When someone like Cruz is reading the political tea leaves that way, you know that a lot of Republicans are very uneasy with the president's policies.
Stephen Roberts, I got 30 seconds. How does this end?
I don't know, because, as I say, the president will not back down. You said it directly. He does not want to appear weak. He feels very strongly that if he compromises, then his base is going to be disillusioned and they won't come out and vote in the fall. But Congress, if you leave it to Congress, there's a lot of political calculations. There's a lot of confusion. There's not much leadership. I don't know how it comes out. Right now, it's a stalemate.
I do know this. You're the best, Stephen Roberts. Thanks for checking in. Have a good day.